All right, testing, Malika. Half a day, half a day. All right, Sadran, Malika. Okay. All right. Half a day. Smile. Okay. All right. Buenas and half a day. Todos hamzu. Bueno hudzo. You live stream Zen. Todos hamzu. And gaigi gwini ki hall mesti na kwatu. Half a day. Viva. Everyone behind me is incredibly tired. Everyone behind me just finished either organizing, teaching, or participating in a 2-week CHamoru language immersion culture program. Aten komas CHamoru imatan niha? Do they look more CHamoru in their faces? Komas CHamoru ibos niha? Do they feel more kawamas anghet santi? Haral puuna iposisyon niha? Ikinalamten niha? Is there Kelegwin mas bangi? Are they prepared for a career at KFC in Manila? Making red rice? No, ahi. No. We can make better red rice than KFC. I'm glad that we are finished with this program. Now, at the end of 2 weeks, we get to look back. We get to look back and we get to look back. Walk through. If you're anybody museum, the walk through the program. Now you might be able to walk one. And at the end of the immersion program, we have what's called a HITA Talk. HITA Talk is the Guam Museum's free market edited version of a TED Talk. In your follow, I put off the time. Up in there, you can get something up and you can get it up there. But what we do is we make space for conversations about heritage, about ideas, about art, and so on. And so what we want to do at the end of this process is we want to, when you're in a 2-week almost every single day program like this, you're learning the language, you're learning the culture, but you're also constantly with other people. You get to reflect, but there's not a lot of time to reflect. And so we offer this space at the end of the process for the students, senior kaling, maatan hati, gifinot CHamoru, I manamdu ilagniha, halza pinakat sinsegi. In CHamoru, our elders say that there are no footsteps without footprints. And it's an important reminder that you get nowhere in life without leaving marks on your journey. And so it's important that we look back on these 2 weeks and we see what marks have been left on our journey. Some of waha makano bonito. Some of us, taiguihigi generacion si Cindy Crawford, no? Bonito y makano ilanat no gi matanya. But I understand that for younger people, they don't know who Cindy Crawford is. Hadzi un mas hoben na kauta waha bonito na lona. Can somebody help me out with a younger person that has a beautiful beauty mark so I can update my reference? Hadzi? Okay, I'm putting you see Marilyn Monroe, Cindy Crawford, Lowenti, timeless na reference. Hunggan Wenti, had a man Americano ship, Wenti Hekbade. Anyway, somebody help me out with that because I find that a lot of my references date me. And so, Wahoo? Hava? Oh, Jenny Len. Oh. No, it's much but anyways, so some marks are beautiful. Some marks are troubling. And so para este na programa, este na dos semana, guaha gefpago na momento, tadung na shinenti, guaha bula lagu lokwe. There was tears. There was moments of incredible inspiration. And so, este na HITA Talk nini, zahu na guaha lugar, kasi hada uno sinya masope, that each participant and organizer that's joining here today can share some of that. And so zahunay na benailugat tinetna pada inagahaga pari programa kung yan mas importante na tawag din DST na lotia aatan tupago okay aligi si Chobik kung yan. And so nita paktaki si June tangalinan si Chobik por favor. So here, SKD Miguel. This is the mic.
Manana si Zeus, Guahu si June Pangalina, Manahu Difuntu Rosalia Perez Gumatauta, Tautau Sinahanya, Zan Patahu, Tomas Titano Pangalinan, Tautau Asan, Samasagadugi de El Cerrito, California, Kihuki, Berkeley, Bay Area. Esti mina tres masakin di programa, Gisan Lago. Pinet na nasakin, dan mina dos nasakin, i programa Giza Guahan. I planning team, Faisen i Finaisen, Cocina in Sogui i programa Giza San Lago sa Giza Guahan para 2 años. Lo Tadza Fuha Rock, Tadza Jeff Pirates Cove, Tadza Koturan CHamoru, Senior, Hungan, sa ha Guaha i programa Guini. I programa di Cal State University San Marcos, in Visita San Diego Zoo, sa Isiga, Izota Paluma, zan Gaidi Estina Lugat. Zan Isita i 80th Liberation Picnic di Mission Bay. In Segui Programa Guini di San Marcos. Durante i programa, Faisen i Fanaisen Siha, Hadi Du, Hadi How, Hadi Hit, Hadi Du, Estudiante Pequeño di CHamoru. Hadi How, Wenti, Estudiante Pequeño di CHamoru, Wenti Familia, Pat Jackson, Pat Alon, Hadi Hit, in Grupi na Estudiante Siha, Malago Ham Pequeño di CHamoru. Mas na Tautau songan Lenguajita Masai. Lenguajita Ti Masai. Lenguajita Ti Masai. Mga masongan na noun. Lenguajita Guaha Menmaigo para anako na tiempo. Zenpagu Megai Malago Ham Pequeño di CHamoru. And Suanao Lenguaje na Revitalization. The SB na cohort Nasakin, then cohort Estaba Nasakin, Consigi Pequeño Lenguajita. Guanabiay Mahaling Nasalgan sa T. Libiano Pequeño di CHamoru. You can't phone it in this journey. So Paku Guaha Nuebu na comunidad. Giza Huizi. Sigusma así para soportar para entender di lenguajita, dan para tidak dan teknologia, di situasi la lenguajita. Talk di English. So my name is June Pangalina, and my mom is Rosalia Harris in the Tauta from Sinahanya. My father is Thomas Tysano Pangalina from Aspen. I live in El Segundo, California, close to Berkeley. And this is the third year of the program. It's been on Guam for 2 years. And the planning team needed to ask, it's very expensive to go to Guam. So we needed to ask, where should we have it in the States? Because we want people to be at the table who belong here. And it's very expensive to get to Guam. So we decided, yes, we'll have it here. But where are we going to go? There's no Full Rock here. There's no Jeff Pirate Cove here to go have a beer. There's no Sagan Katuda tomorrow. What are we going to do? Well, we have our partners here who helped us, who worked with us, who invited us to be at their home, who invited us to be at this college here who's given us so much, to be at the house of tomorrow. So we stepped up. We went to the San Diego Zoo because we had to there. That is our burden. That is our burden. The only one to fulfill. Okay, it's not the only one, but it's still our burden, right? And we got to see it. And we went to Liberation Picnic in that year, signed up Miranda. And so, yes, we decided to have it here. So in the program, we ask these questions. Who am I? Who are you? Who are we? I'm someone who is a student trying to learn Chamorro. I've been trying to learn it for 4 years. Who are you? Maybe you're trying to learn Chamorro too. Maybe you're a friend, an ally, a partner. Who are we? Who are we? We are people who came together, you, the cohorts, trying to learn the language, taking 2 weeks out of your life and money and time to be here. Many people have said our language is dead. Our language is not dead. Don't say that. It's just been sleeping for a long time. And we're part of revitalizing and waking it up. So for you, the cohort here and the cohorts past, please continue to do this work. I'm so proud of all of you for what you did over these 2 weeks. Keep it up. It can be a lonely journey. Many of us are older and we're proficient at what we already do. And then we start this journey. It is hard. But you now have each other and we have each other. To be in community, to me, that makes all the difference. So thank you so much for being here to support this work.
Mananasi Duos, Mananasi Dudu, Taxi Dudu. There's a participant in our program and name is Dudu. So we changed the phrase to Mananasi Dudu. Pues anyway. Pues anyway, quality Clarissa Mendiola, the Familian Monoxida now, Tautau Variegatagui. Or no, Tautau Telefofogui, then Familian Vincentico si Tautau, Tautau Variegatagui. Sa Samanozu, gi Pinetana na Yaki, Giestina programa, sa Huadzuri programa Mapas Masakan, plus Gagi Zubwini Tatlu Patabe, a duty program, Tatlu. Like Helen, I can't get enough, obviously. Sa Goktahu ST na cohort sa Guaha Megagay na Manhoven singer na Sinano Giestina programa sa, esta electing Santi June, like Golf Guagwan, para be Penhano para Guahan, para, mega na Manhoven siya, pues, ginin STC Pagu, like Mia o Engin Guaha HITA program de Guahan Sisina Husal now was Magalu na then para kita imas importante na patigi minatlahu pabu sa titigi tu lokwi lo paraguahu malagudu tumugigi finota vinetna that timanazin itetsohu timanazin itetsota was a notna. So I'm Clarissa Mendiola, and I participated in this program the first iteration and then helped the second iteration. I'm here again to help because I closed that little bit of tomorrow saying that my work is not done and our work is not done. So it's an incredible privilege to be able to be here to help organize a program like this here in Southern California. And I was just kind of reiterating what Auntie June said, that to get to Guam takes an incredible amount of financial resources, and that's very prohibitive to a lot of young people who were not at the table when we were in Guam those first 2 years. And so it feels amazing to be able to create space for young people who have the desire to learn our language, and for many of whom this is just the beginning of the journey. And I often think about how Indigenous communities think about 7 generations ahead.
Hongan, Hadzi Pumega mute, Sidus Masi. Y duendes tumogui siempre. Los Sidus Masi para y teléfono laihai. Hongan. Okay. All right, let's tadong esti para ho.
Manana Sigurus, Apade Tulos Hamzu, Gohu si Tadong Gogui Tetahago, Lo Inanhu si Alex White, Leon Guerrero White Tau Tau, Ginin Manilao, Tandaidasko Cruz, Ginin Santa Rita y Familia Cruz, Banadosu Natsumoto, Dumangkalo Gitian Lago, Gita, Colorado. Sumaska Gita Tano I Nacion I Tauta Pomo sa Niwak. Ayade. I'm gonna say, Gasgas na Eri, Gasgas na Nenkano, Gasgas na Hanum para Toro I Tauta Tano I Quinitihu. Para Hamzu, Toros Tomoro Put Equinac I Sengangehu. Ti Ezahu, Ti Esamu, Tipu I Kulo I Lasamu. Patmanu Nai Dumadankulo How, Angen Gaigi Hiningin Ta Tomorrow I Corasanmu, Tomorrow How. Debidi Tatungo Pa Izaki Fino Tomorrow para Imanyaina, Imanamko, Ipamaguan. So yeah, my name is Hadun. I was given the name Alex White growing up. My family is the Leon Guerrero White clan from Manila and the Velasco Cruz family from Santa Rita. And the last thing that I said here is that, like, for all the Chamorros that are in this room and are on this live stream, I hope that you can hear me that it's not your fault that you don't know Chamorro, and it's not like the color of our skin, and it's not where we grew up. But if you have Chamorro values, in your heart, then you are Chamorro. That's what I found, like, through this program. And like each one of us sitting up here, like, you always have been and you always will be like Chamorro, because you show those values in your heart. The one thing I really want to honor is that a number of years ago, I was visited by my Nanan Biha and Tatan Bihu, in their ancestral form, and they gave me the responsibility that I needed to pass on the knowledge from our Saina, from our elders, to Tamaguan, to our children. And 6 years ago, the four phrases I knew were Hapade, Sajus Ma'asi, Zahu How, and then I thought, like 6 years ago, I thought Hapatata Manu How meant please feed me, I'm hungry. Because that's what I thought from my dad. I said that was like the most important phrase for you to learn when you come to Guam. So I didn't know how I would do that. And sometimes when we receive those messages from our ancestors, it works on a timeline that is outside of what we understand or what we can see or even dream of at the time. And I feel such a humble gratitude that for everyone in this room, because the fact that you are here has allowed me to fulfill that responsibility from my ancestors, because we have our Saina in the room, and then the young people who are sitting up here have given me so much hope and so much inspiration, because you are taking the knowledge, like, and hininge, like our values, and our language. You're picking that up from our elders. So all of you are making our ancestors very proud. So thank you all so much for what you did this week to be here. And thank you to everyone who had a role in making this possible. Professor Teresa, Livia, everyone who had a role, Senor coming over, and your family, for everything you did, everybody in this room, everyone watching. Thank you so much for everything you did to make this work possible.
Jesus mas de tadon. Jesus masin. Pues hunggan. Okay. So, man manadzani man odkonili sa napate. We've heard from the four organizers on the panel Papesti, Maskalangun Saligo. This is more like a centipede. It's not a panel. Estiu and Saligo and Pogan. This is what the centipedes are like in Pogan. If you ever go up to Pogan in the Northern Islands, Hungan, Paguini. Okay, so interesti participants. Hadzi Malago Comentus Fenetna. Who would like to speak first? Hago listo how? Hungan nihita Viva Hago.
Ay, day. Half a day in Anhusi Pagu, Gifinot Samoru, lo Guahusi Theo, Fino Inglesi. Hata Guahanzu lo Sumasaka Zu Giza, Arizona. Familiaku Anone, or Anones Familiaku. I'm from the Anones clan. My name is Theo. I am from Arizona, but I'm from Guahan. I'm Samoru, Samoru too. So this program has been such a blessing for me. I feel so lucky to have all these wonderful friends and all these people. I tell them before I came to this program, I'd never been in a room full of Samorus before, ever. Like, unless they were my family, never, ever, ever. So it was so interesting. And there were lots of tears shed, mostly by me. And it really is such a blessing to be in a room full of people who want to speak our language and who want to, and even people who are not Samoru, Kelegwen and Irenta, who are not Samoru, but wanted to learn our language. They wanted to know who we are. And that's such a blessing. Yeah. Biba.
You can say Tazaban, Tazaban. All right. Unumanat and Hazimalago Kumentos. Viva! Siguro, Timalago na Hogway Ultimo? Sa pon like, kung napodong ginini patsormas di bonitun tinemtum, you know, want to drop knowledge, kalang Hogway Ultimo?
No, there's many of us here, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. Inanhu si Miguel Mendiola Garcia, Samoru Inanhu si Aligao, which means to search. Samorutsu dan Puerto Riqueño su, Puerto Rico. Samoru y Nananhu dan Puerto Riqueño y Tatahu. Sumasaga Sugits Buena Park, Orange County, California. Lo Dumankalutsu Beats National City, San Diego, California. Matototsu Kids Escuela, Papanagui Zoo, Papanagui, Papanagui Zoo, Maestro Zoo. And Agradeci, Golf Agradeci. I'm so blessed to have been here with everyone, to share space with everyone here. I have so many more thoughts, but I don't want to take up too much space with so many of us here. Yeah, this wasn't just a class, you know, this was definitely a whole experience. So I would recommend anyone, if they had a chance to participate in something like this, that they jump for that shot, because it's very fulfilling and heartwarming. So this is massive.
Half a day, Guahu si Brittany Cruz Varen lo naan hu I CHamoru si Tamasa. T Palabra Chamorro lo it was given to me by my papa. So Senzahu Inaanhu tomorrow. Sumasaka Giza San Diego, lo Dumankulu Giza Manilao Guahan. Nananhu Nanahu si Lisandra Cruz. Tatahu una dos si Robert Tacloban, Zan si Junior Farron. I Ibanda Nanahu as Lisandra, Familian Cruz Lazaro, Ibandan Tatahu as Robert, Tacloban, or Familian Tacloban, dan Tichimogui, Ibandan Tatahu as Junior, Familian Theron Undu, Inaanhu Iguinaizaku, the Angelo Carino. Over there, everybody, right there. Atan, Astigi Iguinai. Go, go Bonito, Ilahi. Zahu Mahaling. Sinzahu iklasan todo iklasan Nenkuna. Yeah, esta manazan. Diba. Havade todo samzu. Guahusi Erina Colgums. Lo si Serena, the programman. Means mermaid. And I'm a Pisces, so I liked that name. E Sumasiga du Gita Los Angeles, Pagu. Lo Mafanyago du Zan Dumaklu du Gita Oakland, California. E Nanahu CHamoru, qui. Lo Tisamoru I Tatahu. Inaanya I Nanahu si Victoria Atelig Gums. Then Inaanya I Tatahu Ethan Gums III. Guaha Telufulahi Masamku Ethan Loquit. Bula Ethan Nakamiliaku. Then Gof Magof to be in this program. Shempri I'm doing English and tomorrow back and forth. It's always a dream of mine to learn the language. There've been many times over the years where I was like, I'm just gonna learn through this book. And my mom will just say some words to me and she'd be like, then you could say this and you could say this. You could also say this. And I'm like, please slow down. Hula, despacio, lo, despacio, hungan. But I wasn't sure if it was ever going to happen. And so here we are. Can say a lot more words now than I could 2 weeks ago. So for that, I'm very grateful. I forgot the rest of my haji. Oh, Kusangani, Tao Marianas do. Sa Tao Guahan, Zan Tao Saipan, Zan Tao Lupa Loqui, I Nananbiha, Inananbiha, Rosario, Manglonia Atlig, Zan I Tatahu, Inaanya I Tatahu Bihu, Serafin Mendiola Atlig, Tao Lutanados, and Tao, pues, I appreciate who agradeci todos, all of you, especially all my Guahan Selu brothers and sisters, especially for recognizing all the Marianas in this program. That was very important to me and I really appreciate it. And a lot of the tears were mine too, Pago, so I'm gonna keep them now, but Manazan, and Sisusmasi. Hofade Todosamzu, Guahusi Ami Kakapet, Lo Tmoru Naanhusi Inina, Smastika to Kita La Jolla, California, Lo Dimankala to Kita Guahan, Tato Zotnya. Zotnya rules. Sign language. We're learning all the languages. There's more than just Chamorro in this language immersion program. Gradua Estudiantes Gita UCSD San Diego, Scripps Institution of Oceanography, Gaigi na Tetsohu, Gita Pacifica, Malago to by na Lamalik, Ifinohu, Aporauzu, Hu Konguk, Hamzu, Gifinu Tomoru, Esta hu mommy ham. Dos semana lo guaha y familia hammy. So we've only known each other for 2 weeks, but there's definitely like a family that we've built here. And I think this language immersion program was really special. And it was just to echo like everyone's values and everyone's appreciation. I think it was really eye-opening to just see how much you can learn in these 2 weeks. And that was really empowering to see like different levels and different personalities kind of obtain the language. I think growing up in Guam, I've just been exposed either you don't know Chamorro or you know Chamorro. And I think it's either 0 and 100, and seeing all like the other 99 numbers in between, like that's incredible. And there's different steps in this language journey. And yeah, I think that was just another appreciation of this program. It's not just learning it, but learning how to learn a language. And I'm really thankful for all these people up here and all the organizers and all of you guys for listening. Sisos Masi.
Half a day. Half a day. Bahusi Dabina. See if I can remember these numbers. Tulu Nafulu Nagai. Tulu Nafulu Nagai. Hugwa Nasakanzu. Sumasaga Zoo Giza Portlandia. Tamunkalu Zoo Giza Nevada City, California, the Bay Area. So my name's my Chamorro name is Davina. My English name is Divina. So not much difference there. But I was given the name Davina by my grandmother, of which I always just thought she couldn't pronounce my name, because she didn't really speak English. She mainly spoke Chamorro. But I learned when talking to Sinatmaket about a year ago. I was like, oh, can Chamorro people not pronounce the letter V? He was like, and I told him like my grandma would call me Dippy, and he was like, no, that's a word. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I've always I've kind of decided that is my name. Dabina means to guess. I was a hooligan when I was a child, constantly hiding, hiding, things like that. Numbers when saying I'm 32 years old, which is the Tulu Nifulu, the guy, just because it was fun to say rather than saying it in Spanish. It was just fun. And so being in this program, it's so nice because it's like I'm being surrounded by people who had similar experiences to me. Even though I grew up here,
in the United States, diaspora. And I was part of that first generation that was born here in the States. And I was also the first person in my family who was born half white. The rest of my cousins were full CHamoru, or at least full half CHamoru or another islander. So they were always, we'd be like, oh, hey, cuz. And then I was the black sheep, but white. So it's just nice to be around people who had similar experiences, whether they were full. I didn't realize other people were going through these experiences, even if it's just realizing that you have the community and come to something like because no matter where I've lived, there's not really been a place I felt so comfortable or like had well, I don't have shorts, so you don't get it. And it's like, okay, well, the fact that you're saying that to me, it sounds like I do get it. Because I don't know, it's just one of those things. And then here it's just so it, something my how long how long has it been muted? I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. How did I do that? Okay. And yeah, sorry, I can talk forever, so I'm just gonna but yeah, it's super nice, and I'm gonna like miss it. I'm like sad, but also I'm really tired, guys. So so also bye. No.
Half a day, hopefully Zoom. Nope. Okay. Well, clip. Maybe that will work. Okay. Half a day for this HAMSU. Yeah, Davina has made me cry a lot this past 2 weeks. I'll share a little bit of my how which more that I prepared, and then also share a little bit like experience, and that's okay. But dispensa, we're using notes. Hapaday to this hamsi. Each mo na anhi getsunga mafanaan zuginen at Dakota Camacho sa gosahu menzunga. I like to draw a lot. So my friend Chetlu Dakota Camacho gave me the name Getsunga, which means good drawing. It's very sweet. Um, I nananhu si Jessica Virgil. Tigo CHamoru I apelyido su lo CHamoru I familia ku. My last name's not really Chamorro, but my family is Chamorro. I come from Familian Ampa, Giza Aganya Heights, Dan Familian Soteva, Giza Pidi, Dan Familian Timanglo, Giza Ordit. Lo Matototo to Giza Professor, Giza Manhattan, New York. So I am currently living in Brooklyn, New York, and working. Guahu e-packaging, then branding designer. I couldn't. Balutan was like the closest to packaging, and then I was just told you should just say it in English. So I was like, okay. But so we'll circle back on that. Sumaska to Pizza Brooklyn, Lo Demunclo to Pizza Seattle, Washington. T Demunclo to Pizza Mariana's, Logo Mago San Panedosa na Samoritsu. So I did not grow up in the Marianas, but I am a very happy and proud Chamorro. So those were the words I prepared that we presented yesterday. And coming into the camp, I would say I just knew like spotted words. I didn't know a lot of Chamorro. And definitely this experience, I'm not fully fluent in Chamorro, which I think is healthy expectation, but it's allowing me to be more familiar and comfortable with in having the words come out of my mouth and being able to hear it coming from more experienced people, and being able to at least get the gist of our language. So I'm very happy and satisfied in kind of having that at the end of these 2 weeks. And likewise, everyone has been saying that it's not just been an experience where we're learning Chamorro, but it's where we're living out our Chamorro values, sharing a lot of tears, which we said is a gift and we can't be ashamed of tears that we shed. But it's also been an amazing experience to laugh in Chamorro, laugh ancestral. And so I don't think I've laughed more in a learning environment than I have in these 2 weeks. So I'm really grateful for that. And to have all people from all different walks of life to share this experience with, even from like the Neni to the Modumko, and everyone in between. And I think definitely excited to continue on this journey as we are launching off of this. And this environment being here in San Marcos and in this more university, I would say, environment has allowed us to connect closer, and we're really encouraged, I think, to continue communicating off outside of this experience, and I think very hopeful. So I think the organizers would be very pleased and excited and satisfied for all the hard work that you've done and put into this for us all. Yeah, it's small.
Half a day, Toru Hamzu, Naan Hu Si Me Kino, Naan Hu Ina. My name is Me Kino, but my Chamorro name is Ina. Aquino then Stakrio I familia my CHamoru si tatahu dan sinahu ihu. To CHamoru si nanahu. Bisaya na Filipino gui. Tautausipu. So my family is Aquino and Stakrio, and my dad and my grandparents are Chamorro, but my mom is Filipino and she's from Visayan, Cebu. Mafanya gu Demakalu zu Giza San Diego, Especiat Natibuzu. Matototo zu Giza CSUSM San Marcos, a HITA Center. I'm a research assistant on Professor Teresa Suarez. Mago zu Sahu attendee SE Prugråman
agad si do I have to do it do I have to do it over again? Thank God. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, I did not know what I was gonna get into. Honestly, Teresa was just like, "Hey, we want to be part of this tomorrow program," and I never got to really experience a tomorrow culture, even though I live in San Diego. But I've always been exposed to my Filipino side, and the only time I've ever heard tomorrow was from my grandpa when he was speaking with his sibling. And I never knew how important a language could be. I didn't know that language could be more than in just books, that it's the people give it life, that this tomorrow is not just words, it's an experience, it's a love language, it's something that's within our roots that we can fulfill. I never knew that we were even indigenous. I never knew that tomorrow was like a language that was dying. But there's hope that it won't die because we're here now. We're the new generation. We have the house of tomorrow. We have so many things going on here that we're all, especially me, that's willing to not fight.
Round one, Manadze. Biba. Okay. Hadzi Tumotogya, who is still standing after round? Oh, Mematatatsu Namzo. Okay, Dispensazo. All right, so it's okay. Ti Todo Samzo, ti Debri and Danse, ti Debri and FPST. Lo. Esta te diskuti kaleng hafa buniti, hafa zanidzu. Lo, hafa maput para hamzu di halami programa. Yestina dos semana. What was difficult, or was there anything that you struggled with over the 2 weeks? Sa Guahagidza Hamzu like Niduna, Tian Gef Hingokesta, you hadn't heard much tomorrow, or Ti Mega Tiningo Miju Esta put tomorrow. And so, who here would like to share a little bit about what the struggle was, if any, that you encountered over the 2 weeks in your learning journey? Again?
Filipino Inglés, though. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can't answer that in tomorrow fully, but I am used to being good at things. I'm used to being very smart. I'm used to also learning languages. So there's something very particular about wanting to learn this language, though, because of how deep it is in, my being, right? My ancestors. There was a day, I think we all remember the day. I think there was a day, maybe the third day, when, well, for me, it hit me that we came back from lunch and there was a beautiful woman on this Zoom screen, and see Chris, the Auntie Chris, and she spoke to us for an hour in tomorrow on our third day, right? So we learned some stuff, but I stared at that screen, tried so hard to understand, and I probably got like maybe 10% of what she was saying. And at the end, my brain literally it was hurting, and I felt like I had to just like run out of the room, honestly. And I did. Right at 5 p.m. I was like, gotta go by. And then the next day, I came back, and we had a thing every day in the morning where we'd do an offering in tomorrow. And maybe it was you, Pragu, but you started at the tears, and everyone that was just like, I'm exhausted. This is hard. This is too much. And I realized it wasn't just me. I was experiencing that, and maybe it happened for different people for different reasons. But I think there was also this like huge relief after we all collectively cried and shared tissues that we were like, okay, well, now we all shared that, and now we can continue forward. Like, we got this, and we're in this together. So that was the hardest part for me, and then it got better. And then I got the flu, and then came back, and but yes, it was a beautiful experience, and I just want to thank you, Professor, and all the organizers for making this possible. It was very difficult, but feels like so worth it, and feels like now that we have this community that can continue the work together, that it won't be so hard. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say anything before, but then you reminded me how, oh my gosh, that day, it is the day we all released our feelings of being overwhelmed and feeling like we're not good enough and we're not learning fast enough. I was also born and raised on Guam, and like when you're from there, when I came out here when I was 19, and when I came out here, I was like, I'm Gulf CHamoru. I'm very CHamoru. I'm better than everyone. I just no, but like I know I knew so little, regardless of the exposure to the culture I had. There was still so many reservations about, should I learn CHamoru, or is it too hard for me? And it really was super hard. And I think what was really hard for me was comparing myself to other people. And I didn't realize I was until everyone else was like saying they were, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like I'm also used to being really good at things and knowing things. So if I didn't know the answer, I felt like I didn't have any power. Um, and but with this program, they've allowed us to create a space where we can keep asking questions and be comfortable in our mistakes, and um, owning them, and actually like being excited that like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, but now I know. And I feel like that kind of space is super important. But when you learn the language, it's not easy. It's very not easy, especially with a lot of the trauma that comes with it. Um, because we all have this very internalized insecurity. Like, I mean, if I learn tomorrow, it's not going to be good. So I might as well not learn. I might as well not learn it. I mean, that's what I grew up with. But I feel so excited to go forward after this program. And the most important thing is that we created this community of like, we're still, that group chat is still gonna be there. Like, we're still gonna meet up and talk in Chamorro, and make sure we learn more together. But I think, yeah, the hardest part definitely was being in all different kind of levels and our exposure to the culture. But I think us being
all having different walks of life has just given us courage that like we can do, you know, we can do whatever we can when if we have the support that we had during this program.
Si Chadong, Hogum, Hungen, Hogum, si Chadongi, Hungen,
Off a day. Being in this program was, just to put it simply, hard. 8 hours a day, learning a new language. We're all exhausted by the end. Especially the first week, I think we were all talking about how like it's a long ass day. Sorry, dispenser. It's a long day. Um, and it was hard feeling like I belonged there because I wasn't raised somewhere. Like I grew up hearing the words around. I grew up in a very small town in Arizona, so it was hard. Low. It was nice to see a lot of different people in the program who like were also feeling the same way as me, like didn't feel like they were tomorrow enough to learn the language. But like we're here, we're learning together, and there are people in this program who are not Samoro, and they were also kind of feeling that like reservation, but it was nice to see them just like be willing to try. Tapangon says I'm very quotable, but right now I don't feel very quotable. um, I I write a lot of poetry. Sorry about that. I write a lot of poetry because I have a lot of feelings. Um, and I'm not good at expressing them. Um, uh, and so when I was writing poetry here, it all felt very like emotional and angry. And I was angry because a lot of reasons. Because of the occupation of our land, because of um our language that is not spoken by most of our young people. Um, I was angry and I felt like I had no way to express that anger. So I was writing a lot of angry poetry, super emo. Um, it was hard to express those feelings without becoming filled with hate. Um, okay, thank you. But I told Senior in the little letters that we were writing to everyone, it's, it's so much more than language. The lessons that we all teach each other are so much more than language, and we do all teach each other. We all have things to share. It's more than just the teachers teaching us. But the lessons are so much more than just language. No. No. But it's been such an honor to be here, and I felt like eventually I did kind of get over the like imposter syndrome. But it took a long time. It took like maybe until like the last few days to feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And my grandma's here supporting me and her friend. Um, and even though I didn't grow up with my Chamorro family, they also have been supporting me through this. My grandma, my other grandma, who speaks Chamorro, wants to talk to me, Gipinot Chamorro, which is such
a blessing, I feel like, because I know there's a lot of people in the program whose parents and grandparents don't want to talk to them in Samoru. There's a lot of people in the program whose parents don't want to talk to them in Samoru, you know, who have a lot of their parents and their grandparents have a lot of trauma from the Japanese and American occupation of just like, don't speak Samoru because, you're not allowed to. But it's not like that anymore. We're allowed to speak our language, and that's such a blessing. Okay, I'm done.
Mr.
I very much want to honor something that Tabernicia na Estitano na matadanya hit Guinipago y mismo tano niha y leseño zan payong kawitam natal. So the land we're on right now is leseño and payo kawitam land. It's not Chamorro. We are yes, on the land, and that's one of the things. In a way, this was like because the last 2 years we had done it back home, and there's no like palabra, there's no words to express what it feels like to be held by your ancestral land, to be on the land that your ancestors have been for thousands of years, where your ancestors are buried, where there's been a relationship with that land for thousands of years. And so we're learning on land that is occupied, that was stolen from another indigenous peoples, like our relative. And so it's our pain is shared and our struggle is bound together. So there's a pain, and as us organizers, because we experienced this program back home, at the end of the day, we could go to like Ikanton Tasita, to our beaches, to our waters, to Uo Rock, and give offerings and receive that care from the land that you don't feel when you're on land that has been stolen by settlers, by colonizers. And so that is so difficult that there's a certain level of like tiredness and exhaustion that we felt, because at the end of the day, we weren't held by our land. And so I think that was something that made there's a certain tiredness and exhaustion that feels, and that just speaks to the whole experience of us growing up, Lagu, of never feeling like you fit in, like never feeling like you belong. That's something that when we go home, we just immediately feel in our bodies that we're home and we belong. And so that's something that was very difficult about being here. Zan, what made this so special is the space that we all co-created. When you expressed your gratitude to the organizers, but it was all of you on the first day who opened your door and were cooking spam and eggs at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. And and I also want to like acknowledge very much like Professor Therese, like, thank you for giving us this little bit of shelter, for carving out this little bit of space for us, for our program to exist here, HITA Lagu. Because the fact that we're able to have to create this type of community, to have this type of experience on land that is not our home, is just a testament of how strong those values live in your heart, the way that you all practice Afamaulik, then Ageptau, Agofli'i, then Agwaidza. That's what you all did, like together. Like we did that together, but really like you all did that here. And it takes very special people. It just shows how like Maneskunta, like just our endurance and resilience, that we're still able to create this experience together, even when we're still Gitsanagu. So just Gof Agadeze, Todos Hamzu, for your ability to create this space together, even when we're not home.
Di otro malayo.
He just likes that. There never was.
Mahalang Natsalan. This is a lonely road. And so how do we come together and uplift each other? I am not young. I am the oldest person here. And so I have a few skills. And then I start this journey as an elder and I feel like, man, I feel not good enough. I feel not fast enough. And I hear from a lot of different people. We all say that, but what does that mean? Because it's actually not us saying that, right? That's that inner critic, that's that ego. And how do I embody our values of and I go meet me? How do I see myself? How do I see you? Because I hear that from all of us. We all say that, but how do we stay in community and how do we not listen to that inner critic that says, I'm not good enough? I do a lot of work in my other non-Chamorro life around, like how do you come from that center and love yourself? I mean, that's our job. Whitney Houston says, the greatest love of all is loving yourself, right? And she says it's easy. It's not easy, right? And then we're learning this language, and because it's ours, my talk might be, well, I'm older and I heard it, and why am I not smart? Why am I slow? How do I parry that away and just say, I'm good enough today? My Chamorro name is Chobik from my mom, Gumatautau, and I picked it really quickly. And my Chamorro name should probably be Dugout. I think that means throw, right? Because I throw out so many mistakes all the time. But that's the way that you learn. And so how do we say, we're okay on this journey today? I did enough today. Maybe it was good that it was on mute for my talk because I'm sure there were many mistakes in that. But that is my question, how do we just hold each other in? We're good enough today in our language. And how do we know this is a heavy lift? We can't phone in this journey. It is hard. But how do we know this is our invitation? We're all invited to do this work that is some deep work, that is some important work. And how do we hold it in a lighthearted manner instead of, So it is a question. Ms. Mossy.
Anyone else? Hey.
Panamasi. Shout to the mic. No, I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what you all were sharing. Yeah, I think that we came into this language class like maybe having like different types of expectations. We weren't sure what we're gonna get. We knew there was a language class. But like it was very much more than that. It was like we were learning like about ourselves and our culture through our language. I made a reference when we had that day, like it's like Inside Out. We had like feelings all over the place. It's like you feel happiness at the same time you're feeling sadness and anxiety and anger. You're feeling everything. And it's like a bittersweet thing. And yeah, there was definitely a learning curve, right? And Senor, you said something that like stood out where I was like, okay, we need to give ourselves grace in learning the language. Where like y'all have baby Chamorro brains right now. Like, you're not gonna come out of this like super fluent Chamorro. Like, give yourself some grace. You might have not picked up everything in that whole hour of straight Chamorro from Senora, but it's not about you. It's about the language. Like the language itself is a gift, and that's something that like because it's normal. It's very very human for us. If we don't understand what's being said or anything like that, we start to kind of like tone out, right? So like to consistently remind ourselves like it's about the person and what they're speaking to us and the language itself, and to honor it. And after that day that happened, just felt like things got better and better. And then the second week came, and we're talking to more elders, and all of a sudden was like, wait a second, I understood a lot of what they said. And you're like, and I didn't expect that. I was like, oh wow, I followed that whole entire conversation. I might not be able to speak it really well, but I can understand what's being said here, right? So like that was something that was did not expect, and that's a testament to what everyone has contributed here, the organizers, Miguel, what everyone has done, and it's just more, it just makes us, it makes myself like more motivated to continue this outside of the space, um, um, and bring what we have here into the spaces we go into, whether it be in places that don't have Chamorros, but also places that we do, right? We have a lot of spaces opening up all throughout the country, right? In Orange County, San Diego, Los Angeles, East Coast, and to where all the Chamorros are at. You know, everyone's wearing the shirts and has the car stickers in the back, you know? So if we can bring a little bit of our language to anyone, to every one of these spaces, it all makes a difference. So yeah, Masi.
Resta na question? Wa otro malago komentar? Naulika? Okay. Oh, again. Diyos biyay? Esta pon balutan? Esta pon bal. You're already taking seconds?
Mahaling. No, I just wanted to say really quick that although that conversation with Auntie Chris was extremely overwhelming, I think after when Senor Maget said it's not about us, and I think, you know, we want to understand so we can take what that is and, you know, use it for us. But like I think when we hold space for someone to speak Chamorro and not be afraid of whether or not we understand that, like I feel like that gives them the chance to speak Chamorro unapologetically. And that was the biggest lesson for me is I just need to, you know, we all need to listen more. And I think that was recorded, so I would love to watch it again. And then I want to try and like, you know, understand it more and more. And then yeah, so yeah, we'll get the jokes. What was so funny? Papa, like, Papa Nathalie.
Seduce Masi. Punga. Okay. Malago na ba na ilugar para este membesita kini? Kogwaha question ginanitaw ni manmakto ni Umeeza. Those of you in the audience, any questions? Pino Ingles, Pino Chamorro, English or Chamorro? Do you have a question that you'd like to ask? Punga. Senora? Punga. Okay. Yes, Senora. While we mic stand up,
Oh, okay. Buenas dan hafade todos hamzo ino anu sibrianda onidera maanyo dias toto San Diego zo gwini. Za usana gri ifinatun mizu sa tutungu pada si Prugråman Sinipok. Estaki NCB si Jeff gi presidente ni houses tomorrow ada CB email gi na Senor Miguel. Za eduna in matam za I mean manhasar hampa bain kumbida i grupo gato gi house tomorrow di babawa park. Za anyway ekno todos i palabras di cuentos ni na house ni todo mampu sana mas menggur isti corazono sa 5 anos na tempo tate into tuhun if you know tomorrow and si Senor Pironidera za 65 na estudante man hoben man amko and man na amko man mato sa man eskwela 5 meses pues ezuna ani mato gini adia ani lekon na pa foto pa sa zahon na pa be ekno todo i kwentus nizo ni semana ni man eskwela hamzu za kosaki man danyait and si Senor Miguel and si just makarek di house tomorrow and kuntodo i Sansandaru sa Guam Club. Okay? Director to di Sansandaru sa Guam Club 6 anos na tempo tate kuntodo i house tomorrow and kuntodo i Chelo organization and si Olivia. Kada sakan in Tegui i Tomorrow Cultural Fest dinya hulu lo bes matalay ka pa Oceanside. Besi Sansandaru sa Guam Club ang gintaza naman matanzu 334 Willie James Jones, okay? We have a very big facility there. a very big pavilion, and a small clubhouse. And as a matter of fact, I would just like to, if you don't have any plans, you can stop by. Let me know, because I have a key to the gate and a key to the clubhouse. So because my heart is really into the perpetuating our culture, our language, our history, and of our ancestors. We also have in the House of Chamorros a Chamorro cultural dance group, and it's called Unuhit. And so we have students that have been dancing for the past 10 years. And I'm letting you know that, my goodness, since the age of 2 years old to the age of maybe 18 or 24 right now, the first thing they learn how to do during the class is to sing Panogi Chamorro, okay, our Chamorro hymn. Then we say the Inofresi, the pledge, and then we say the CNMI hymn. And so from then on, all these students with their Chamorro cultural dance group have been learning. The first thing they do when they come into the class is sing the Chamorro hymn, the Inofresi, and the CNMI, because we're joint. So anyway, when we started the class 5 years ago, and this is just from my learning experience, my granddaughter, Marlena Lute, who is the 2017 Sons and Daughters of Guam Club Liberation Queen, she was a very active Chamorro language student. And so every time I communicate with her, she used to live in Texas, so she just moved up to Washington. We always text each other in Chamorro. You know, buenos dias, hafatatat manamzu. And you know, nowadays with our younger generation, the kids, 5 years old, all they do is get on their cell phone. And what I do is every morning, I tell my grandkids, I have 14 grandchildren and 5 great-grand. Every morning, what I do is I say, buenos dias, half a day, half a tatat manuham, kamamalika hamzu. You know, and that's the first, I mean, you know, it's easy for them to just keep hearing it and listening to it in their cell phone. Because, you know, that's the only way they're going to listen, I mean, and learn and comprehend the language. Because, you know what? Yes, we have all these books. I have a lot of Chamorro language books, even at the House of Chamorros. And, you know, I study it. And at one time, I went online with Senor Miguel's class. And I didn't stay long because of my scheduling here in the Sons and Daughters of Guam Club and the House of Chamorros and the Cello organization. But my heart, I really want to get this, revitalize the Chamorro language here. And I'm just praying that Senor Miguel will help, because our treasurer of Sunset of House of Chamorro is Mary San Augustine, whose brother is a senator in Guam. And we're trying to collaborate with some Chamorro language instructors at University of Guam. So I'm hoping and praying that in the next 2 months, we can get this program going so we can start the language, because we have the facility at Sons and Daughters of Guam Club, the pavilion there, we can accommodate 200 students there. And it just depends. I'm sure we can't do it every single day for 8 hours, but if we can do it twice a week, you know, we can work whatever the schedule is. We can try to work together and continue to perpetuate our culture, our language, our heritage of our ancestors, because it's very important that we teach the younger generation. You're still young, all of you, and for those of you that live here in San Diego, I really like to get you together so we can get this going and get it started with the help of Senor Miguel. Because undang ko na sa this masi.
Hungyan. Oh,
Can you just give me, you know, it sounds like it's some Spanish and then the structure of the language, where the influences were, but you know, I know nothing.
For what Chamorro is?
Yeah.
So Chamorro is an Austronesian language. So Chamorro language would be similar to languages like Philippine languages like Tagalog, similar to Indonesian languages, similar to Hawaiian language, Maori language, It's part of the Austronesian language, spreads all the way across Southeast Asia, the Pacific, and its most distant cousin is all the way in Madagascar. That's the Austronesian language family. What makes Chamorro different is, of course, that Chamorros are colonized earlier than anywhere else in the Pacific, so by Europeans. So Spanish, European influence comes in earlier to Chamorro. So, for example, most Pacific peoples still use their indigenous numbers to count every day, but Chamorros started about 200 years ago counting uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, using Spanish. We still have written down and we still remember our numbers before colonization, but so that's one of the differences. When you hear somebody speaking Chamorro, you can speak in a way that is more Austronesian, that uses less Spanish, but you can also speak in a way that uses more Spanish as well. And so, but yeah. So, but that's why somebody who speaks a type of Spanish language will sometimes hear Chamorro and say, "Oh, is that Spanish?" But they may be able to understand from vocabulary, but it doesn't mean that they can actually understand Chamorro, or it doesn't mean that they could speak Chamorro, because the Chamorro vocabulary is depending on how you interpret it, maybe about 40% Spanish, depending on how you decide to divide up vocabulary and so on. But yes, just a general overview. Oh, sure. Okay.
Sana Brienda, thank you for being here. We're so grateful for your partnership. The President, Senor Ken, no? Senor Jeff Dispenza, thank you for being here. Thank you for hosting us this week. And Dr. Teresa Suarez, thank you for your belief in our work. We're more than grassroots, and so this is the first grant we've ever gotten, so thank you for your belief in our work. Olivia, thank you for connecting us to Dr. Suarez. And Tun Antonio White is here. Tun Antonio is here from Colorado. He was on our pilot program. He added so much wisdom as an elder, love, jokes, all of that. So Tun Antonio, thank you for speaking with us. And thank you all for coming this morning. Thank you so much. And Senor Maguette, thank you, Senor Maguette, for all that you do for us.
Okay. Oh. Hunggan, señora. Ang niya kinubaw.
61 anos siya. Andang ko na si Jesus Masi. Andang ko na si Jesus Masi para todos Hamzo ni man matupago ipinatumizu para na eskwela e Prugråman Sinipok. Zano insena gadesi ipinatumizu sa pago mas na gagawin medyo gikursono para ta continua. Este lenguaje sa importante. Zabula 300 members gisansan daughters sa Guam Club. 150 members gini sa House of Chamorro. Ichelu taza membership. So we have a big board of directors and officers. And you know what? When we all gather together, da para ta nadanya este organizasyon sa da ta fandanya da ta continua. In addition to that, okay, squahaloki Huntunga i fiesta siya sa Guam, no? So, binigay sa San Diego, 8 na grupo may nasono di San Sandaro sa Guam Club. The kada, apa na fiesta, guanobena, manobebena di Guam Club, i St. Jude, i Santa Rita, i Baragada, i Agat, Santa Teresita, i Mount Carmel. Mandada niya am, di Guam Club, the manobebenaham, pisa monazan manobenaham, gafinakpo or fiesta. And za izuna ang ginhafa na ni Sita na informasyon, pud i programa, da parhafa na informasyon ni Sita, pud i komunidad Chamorro ginigi sa San Diego, na atunga si Jane, atunga si Senyor, izokum email, and hamdo todo ni man matag eskwela sa intigi na anizo gipapit tagay na sempre gaho no befan email amzo ni na okasyon ni man mamela sa na tempo. Okay, pes ang klunes si Dus Masi Insenagdesi finatun mizu za ola mon za kita continua za tafandania za tafana brabo na takahulut esti lingua hita toru anikuturata. Jesus wasi.
Sisu how pare comunidad. Sisu masis. All right, Hungan. We're gonna close things off now. Hungan. Logi halamestino programa. Sa tutuhon sa hutsum kadahaani. Then your freshman tota gifino CHamoru. Oh, you thought I forgot. We begin and we end every day with our offering in CHamoru. They were hoping that I had forgotten. And so, para tutuhon di esti na banda, okay, pues, ofrece, masaya dididi, anything in CHamoru, da para tuhutsum esti na programa po. Okay, anything. So, at the beginning and the end of every day, something offered in Gifinut CHamoru. It can be as simple as Zadzasu, I'm tired. Or it can be as deep as Ihalehu Sinya Madzamak Todi Edification Militat Niman Mahatsagi Deleteksan. My roots are so deep they can break any structure that the military has built at the Teksan. Or they can be Gofzahu Kelegran. I like Kelegran. You can express anything, but you make your offering to begin and end every day in CHamoru. Hungan. Listo how ina? Okay. Listo? Okay. Hinita tutur. Hapade ina.
Hapade toruma hamzu nalala ifinita or finuta.
Panhita Panapamalik Nalatla Independent Guahan.
Oh, fuck you now. Dude, okay. Men nahong hamzo, then nambali hamzo. Please not.
Put hafa and sogwi nai gracia namaisa pat ourselves. How do we give ourselves grace?
Hafade Torosamsu, Nabula I Lugat. And that is a call to action for us to take up space.
Hapade. Zangan danklu menekgomu danklu responsibilidad. With great power comes great responsibility. Then
Hapade Todosamsu, Hu Agradesi how, Jan Hukwa Jahao, also Hata Hukwa Tulu Bad.
So small. Half a day, Totus Hamzu. By Atotka, Pescadora, Angan Guihan, Ifinut CHamoru, Linatla, Ibinota. I will become a fisherman if the CHamoru language is fish, life is the CHamoru language, and Husbuk, I Corazonhu, my heart is full. Viva.
to do this
Half a day.
Half a day. Samdu. Okay. Sangen dikiki islanta lo donkulugi corazonhu. I wrote a poem on the day that I was on the Zoom. I don't know if it's correct, but it means they call our island's small, but they're big in my heart.
Half a day. Team Alefa, Todo Samzu. I won't forget you all. Nahongzu. I'm hopeful.
Ekwa. Zan, why is a hamster?
Buenas, ofre todo Samzo. Ang malago tumungu mano aguato, wala jina tungu ginin mano. If you want to know where you're going, you should know where you're from.
See David. Just Jesus masi por hamzo todos ni man mapto Jesus masi por ifanatun mizu. Ja nihita pakpaki todo esti siagi Prugråman Sinipok. All right. Esti I official na hinitsum pari programa. Viva!